Before we go straight into the live stream, can I just check who we've got? We've got Mr. Hemingway, who I believe is the solicitor for the applicant. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We are expecting one of the people who made a representation to join us. We'll just give them another minute before we start broadcasting the meeting. Does join, I'll bring them in and I'll let you know when I've brought them in. But otherwise, we can start. The first order of business is to appoint a chair for the meeting. Please could I have a nomination and second from the councillors for chair? You'll need to unmute yourselves, councillors. You're all muted.
I nominate Councillor Charles.
Councillor Williscroft, you're still muted. Still muted. There you go. We have audio from you now, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Was that you seconding, Councillor Charles?
Yes.
Okay. Are you content to be chair, Councillor Charles?
Yes, I am, yes.
Okay, marvellous. Over to you then to run us through the meeting, please.
Right, okay, yes. Well, welcome to this licensing subcommittee for AFC Wimbledon. I'm Councillor Charles, and the other two members of the subcommittee are Councillor Page and Councillor Williscroft. We'll ask the others present to introduce themselves when they speak later on. The hearing's being live streamed on the council's YouTube channel, so please be aware that as the meeting is being held virtually, there may be a slight delay. Participants will be muted when they're not speaking to reduce background noise. If at any time anyone experiences technical difficulties, they should let the clerk know. In the event any party to the hearing loses connection and is no longer present in the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting immediately for a few minutes whilst we resolve the issue. In the event the issues cannot be resolved, the meeting will be rescheduled for another date as soon as practicable. So I'd just now like to ask the other councillors if there's any declarations of interest or apologies for absence.
No declarations from me. No declarations from me.
Right, okay then. And the subcommittee will follow the hearing procedures, a copy of which was included in the notice pack sent to all parties. If anyone has not received the papers, please speak now. Right, okay. So if I could ask the legal advisor to inform those present that the subcommittee had a briefing prior to the hearing and to confirm the procedure for clarification on any aspect of the application, please.
Yes, the committee meets before the meeting just to read through the papers so they understand the papers for the hearing, and no legal advice is given in that meeting. There's no other update to give to the committee at this stage.
Right, thank you. And if I could ask the licensing officer if there's any technical issues they feel should be brought to the panel's attention, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure I would describe it as a technical issue. I'd just like to go over a couple of points with you, if I may. First of all, you'll be aware that the premises is currently licensed, and this is a variation application being applied for. The application is only covering some changes to alcohol times and opening hours. The premises is also licensed for a range of regulated entertainment, but there's no changes proposed to that. There is a fairly extensive list of hours that I won't read through in full, and I'm sure the applicant will wish to clarify any points with you. In very brief summary, the main changes proposed are changes to the opening hours and bringing forward permitted times to 9 a.m. rather than either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. as currently permitted, and the addition of alcohol sales to some parts of the premises on Saturdays, which currently aren't shown on the licence. The main areas for that would be the main stadium and the corporate suites. In terms of the representations, there were originally 11 representations made to the application. 2 of those representations have withdrawn, and I believe you have been sent details of the people that have withdrawn their representations. There are 9 representations remaining, and as always, Chair, I'd just highlight to the committee that even if any of those people don't attend, their written representations still need to be taken into account when you make a decision. Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you. Right, so the hearing and order of speakers will be following the procedures included in your agenda pack. So we'll start with the presentation by the applicant. So Mr. Hemingway, over to you.
Yes, good afternoon, panel. Thank you for taking the time to see us today. We're making an application today on behalf of the Wider Interests of Football Limited, who are the operating company behind the AFC Wimbledon Stadium in Plough Lane. I don't know if you're aware, but AFC Wimbledon are a football club which is owned by its fans and is a community-focused club, which involves itself in local action and has a community foundation. And in addition to its football activities, uses its it doesn't have a wealthy benefactor, and it effectively has to generate all of its own funds through its football and non-football activities, utilising the stadium for both football activities and non-football activities as well. As you may be aware, the stadium has now been operating for 2 years, and in that time, the stadium, the operation of the stadium suffered from a few teething problems at the beginning, and it's taken time to get used to the operation of the stadium. And following the gaining of knowledge of how the stadium operates and how to utilise the stadium properly, we're now seeking to vary the operation of mainly the internal parts of the suites, which are contained within the west stand on the main permanent fixture, which is also on the I believe it's on the first floor. Also, there were some anomalies in the initial licence, which have been tidied up by the application today in respect of the directors' boxes and some of the concessions in the concourse area in relation to Saturday usage, in addition to non-match day Saturday usage. So, principally, the application is to add full Saturday usage for the directors' boxes and for the main concourse on the stadium for match day and non-match day usage, and also to extend the opening hours of the. There are 3 suites in the 3 corporate suites within the premises, known as the Platinum Suite, the Gold Suite, and the Silver Suite. The Silver Suite is the larger suite. I'm not sure if any of the councillors have been there, which had extended operating hours on non-match days with a view to having events, say meetings, dinners, weddings, funerals, etc., to be available, and that would run on extended hours, whereas the 2 smaller suites, the Platinum and the Gold Suite, were slightly more reduced hours and primarily used for match day and hospitality. The main purpose of this application is to homogenise all of the the operation hours for all of the internal areas, being the directors' boxes, the Platinum Suite, the Gold Suite, and the Silver Suite, all within the West Stand. I don't know if the councillors have been to the stadium, or principally the West Stand within the hospitality. This is only accessible through the Coppermill Lane entrance. As you come in through the main stadium entrance, there is a reception on the first floor, operated by lift on match days and not match days as well, but also operated by or accessible by stairs. And these Yes, so any patrons entering these suites come in through that area, but also exit through that area as well. So that area is obviously enclosed with the main stadium, with the electrical substation to the right-hand side, and people utilising those suites don't then exit via the concourses or vomitories around the main stadium, which are then closer to the residential areas. This is key when we'll be discussing later on the potential for noise disturbance from these extended hours. In addition, so the Platinum and the Gold Suite, we're looking to bring the opening hours forward to 9 AM. From Monday through to Sunday, and then later hours on a Sunday to midnight from 11:30. And then the main stadium as well, we're bringing forward the opening times in the main stadium to 9 AM on a non-match day, and I'll come back to match days in a moment, and then open to 11 PM on a Sunday. We're also seeking, in addition to the timings, to vary some of the conditions attached to the licence, which are set out in the, I don't know if the council have had the how I've laid out the how we're going to be amending the clauses to the or the conditions to the licence. Principally, is to allow Platinum Suite to have bar service as well as table service. And then in addition, to allow directors' boxes to have alcohol provided to them during the week and not just on match days. And furthermore, it will be to allow, on football match days, allow access to the stadium by fans for 3 hours prior to kick-off, rather than at the moment it's 2 hours. So those are the changes at 31 and 44 listed on the listed on the variation of the conditions. This is again to seek to allow more flexibility, to allow fans to come in a more staggered fashion, because some fans prefer to attend earlier, and also some of the this season there is going to be more televised matches from the stadium, so the kick-off times can be a little bit varied, and so therefore for the kick-off times, to allow us more flexibility for the kick-off times, these opening hours are required. I understand that there haven't been any objections by the regulator or the statutory authorities, the police or environmental department expressed no concerns about this, and the main conditions attached to the licence regarding the operation of the licence on match and non-match days will remain unamended, apart from these small parts here, which I've drawn your attention to. Those are, yes, we've also reviewed the objections by the various interested parties, primarily the residents, and we have considered the potential for disturbance for the local residents, and this appears with the changes that we're making today, which is allowing more usage of the corporate suites. We are suggesting, and we have offered and agreed with some of the residents, that we're happy to include an additional condition that the effectively bifold doors or the double glazing exit into the main stadium from the corporate suites will be shut after 10 PM on days of usage. And remain shut, so to prevent effectively noise leakage into the stadium and then onto the surrounding apartments. We have agreed that with two of the representatives who have withdrawn their representations, Mr. Cooper and also gentleman. Oh yeah, sorry, Mr. Gill. Mr. Gill as well. So we're happy to add that as a further change, and I suggest adding this into the conditions where I've deleted condition 24 and 25, and to replace those with the additional condition in respect of the corporate suites and also the directors' boxes having to shut the external windows at that point. Do the committee have any questions? regarding the application?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Hemingway. Right, the interested parties aren't here, so we'll go straight to questions from the subcommittee to the applicant.
Okay, I have a question.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I think this is to be directed to Barl, who is the stadium manager. Is that right?
I'm revenue and operations manager, but yeah,
Okay. Okay. Or Robin. I mean, how many complaints on average do you think you get every month, or I don't know, every season on things like noise from residents and complaints from residents regarding antisocial behaviour? How many complaints do you think you get each month or on average every year about some of the things that are similar to what the representations are? Can you give me an idea on that?
We haven't had loads for non-match day. There were a couple of events this summer where we had some where the windows were left open because they were very hot and the air conditioning isn't working at optimum in that big silver suite, and so that's kind of the most complaints we've really had about noise. It's not we haven't had many complaints about noise during the time. It was just this happened to be 2 days in a row whilst this application was ongoing, like Sunday and Monday night.
Okay. So they're not flooding in by the dozen every week then?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank
And
you.
that's why we tried to address it with keeping the doors, because the doors closed, and we're obviously looking to install a better air conditioning system in the Silver Lounge. Although we're not looking to that's not the room that we're looking to alter anything in any way. So
No. I'm just trying to get an idea if it was an ongoing thing every week. You getting complaints of some sort around from residents who live nearby. That's all. You know.
yeah.
So, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any questions at all, Councillor Page?
Yes, I was wondering if you could if the applicant could set out exactly what sort of activities or events they anticipate that would need an alcohol license from 9 o'clock in the morning. That basically what is the issue with the current sort of time of 11?
No, that's fine. From next season, Scott, the recent TV deal has changed, so there is going to be more matches being broadcast on TV in League 2 and League 1. So we'll have, I think, at least 4 games, whereas we've had none on Sky in the last 2 years. So the issue is that when they've broadcast on TV, there's a potential for a 12 o'clock kickoff. So we just didn't want to have apply for a special license every time to be able to open the stadium at that time. And then also we just wanted to homogenize the license over the week, because you never know what events that you'd want to put on like a one-off basis. If like there was a World Cup final in Australia or something, and we wanted to put it on the pitch, or like what's going on at the moment. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Okay, so if there's so let's say you wanted to show the Women's World Cup or something.
And we wanted to put it in the stands. Do you know what I mean? Like you can put a big screen up. So
okay, then the other bit was you will have. Is that to show games that are on Sky in the ground, or is it actually the games? The home games will be on Sky, so you want to open the stadium a bit earlier.
Yeah, some of the kickoffs at the moment we've been lucky where every game is either 3 o'clock or generally 7:45 on a evening game. But because TV is going to change the scheduling like it does for the Premier League, we're going to have some games that will kick off at 12 o'clock coming seasons.
Okay,
so they'll leave the premises a lot earlier as well. So, but.
Yeah, I was just wanting to ask about the car parking there. Obviously, if there's an event going on late into the evening, there's going to be quite a bit of noise from people slamming their car doors and things like that. How many parking spaces do you have there at the stadium?
Generally, we try and limit the amount for events, the amount of spaces that we offer. It's not something we could go around 2 sides of stands, but we limit it to about 30 cars for most events. So that hopefully there shouldn't be that much disturbance from them.
Right, okay. Right. Are there any further questions from the subcommittee?
Yeah, I've got one more question. Yeah. For Bar, I just want to know if you got drawn against, say, a team like Wrexham, with all their new status and celebrity surrounding them. Do you have plans in place at the moment for extra security and provision of facilities and anything like that, or will you just continue to have your plans that you have on against any normal team? If that makes any sense.
We're actually playing Wrexham on Saturday at home, so we have our security is in full dialogue with police and everyone else in terms of upping different levels based on different games which have different risk factors.
I could point the panel to the current licence conditions. The management of the crowds on match days is in accordance with the stewarding plan, which is constantly under review on a match by match basis with the police and the police liaison. So if the club do consider, say for example, they have different categories of games, say with MK Dons, for example, that's considered a slightly higher risk than a more benign opponent. So the police liaison takes place, and I think the club adjusts their stewarding provision accordingly.
Okay.
That's already considered and set out in the original licence.
Okay, thank you.
Risk assessments all the way through.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Right. Are there any further questions?
Yeah, I had another one. Sorry, on the same theme, but at the other end of the day. So again, I know that the sort of closing time is being stretched sort of on Sunday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and I just wanted to check again, and some of the other times are being extended, what the motivation or sort of reason for those extensions were.
Well, sir, the opening time for the Silver Suite hasn't been amended, so it's very much just keeping everything from a management perspective on the same terms. So we don't have different rooms closing at different times, and then whoever's managing the provision and of the entertainment that evening, whoever's managing the stadium, doesn't have to kind of keep up with closing rooms at a different time. It's very much just keeping everything in the stadium consistent. For ease of management. I mean, it's not intended that there be events at the stadium till 11 o'clock on a regular occasion. It's just that occasionally there will be in the Silver Suite or the Hospitality Suite, and it's just, like I say, just to keep all of those on the same even keel.
So what would be the impact then if we on your business if
Oops, frozen.
It's frozen.
Yeah.
Just the most important moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's frozen.
Right. At this point,
I suggest if we just pause here and I'll see if I can get Councillor Page back. Okay?
Yeah. Frozen or Frozen 2.
here he is. Is he?
Sorry, I can still hear you.
Sorry, Councillor Page, you were saying what would be the impact on your business, and then unfortunately you froze at that point, so we didn't hear the rest of that sentence. Councillor Page?
What's he done?
Yeah, looks like he's still frozen, doesn't it?
But he's disappeared as a video for me now.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Same
the
as
same.
everyone else.
He
Yeah.
seems to be still in the meeting though.
Mm.
Oh, he's gone now.
Oh,
He's back.
here he is.
Come back.
I think he's frozen again.
Ah, yeah,
Indeed.
looks like it's frozen, isn't it?
Frozen. Like a woolly mammoth. Frozen. How much time before he thaws out?
Oh, is he back? Oh,
Oh, he's gone again for me.
yeah, no,
He's
he's gone.
muted.
Oh dear.
Devices, can you hear me okay now?
That's better. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Ah, hello, Councillor Page. Can
Um,
you hear us? Oh yes, we can hear you
Yes,
now.
I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear me. Sorry, I've switched to my phone because I think my laptop
Yes.
was having network issues.
Yeah, if you could repeat the question.
Yeah, sorry.
please.
So my question is, what would be the impact on your business if we retained the existing hours on a Sunday in particular? So basically 9 p.m. on a Sunday.
I think Mr. Shire will be able to answer that better than I would. So
Yeah, I think it's just more for there are essentially, yeah, there are smaller rooms. These are only for smaller events that people wouldn't. We've got obviously the larger room license for events on a Sunday till 11, which is a pretty standard time. The smaller suites, which would cater for smaller events, aren't, and so we just wouldn't be able to host them up there as easily. But yeah, it shouldn't, in terms of adding to any extra issues. These are obviously, it's the larger room that's already licensed anyway, so it was just to, sometimes some people might want to use a second room for something they actually happen to be air conditioned, so we kind of wanted to offer one of those rooms to some people, especially in those hot months, so they could still go to another room and cool down as well, because especially if we're going to shut the doors at 10 a.m, so at least they had the opportunity to get away from that large room when it does get hotter.
Mr. Shire, sorry to clarify, but I think Councillor Page was referring to the change in hours for the main stadium from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. In our application, we seek to extend the hours to 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on a Sunday only. So I think Councillor Page was talking about what would be the effect of the business if the terminal hour for the main stadium was 9 o'clock on a Sunday rather than 11 o'clock, which we've applied for. That doesn't include the suites.
I thought that was
Okay.
referring just the suites. Okay.
So you're just talking about the main stadium.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, please.
So it's currently at 9, is that what you're saying? And then we've increased it to 11.
That's correct.
I think we would just, it would impact if there was any events there are certain types of things that want to be in the concourse, that you could have something that goes on, but yeah, it's not a regular, occurrence, but it was to make it the same as the licensing for upstairs, wasn't it, Richard? Is that the reason why we changed it to 11?
Yeah, so it's 11 just for the main stadium, so that'll be all the concourses, both the West Stand concourse internally and the external concourses on the ground level for the East, South and North Stand. Those at the moment are licensed to be open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. on a Sunday, and we've applied for, like I say, a change to 9 a.m. opening to 11 p.m. close. And Councillor Page is wondering if those additional 2 hours are necessary.
I think it all depends on what what exactly, like we said, with these kick-off times and different events on a Sunday are on as well. Like, it was a kind of for the same reasons that we might have a evening kickoff or something on a Sunday, because TV is now going to move the scheduling around.
So is it effectively just,
even if you had an evening kickoff, then you wouldn't be serving alcohol? The latest it's going to be is sort of 8 o'clock, I guess. But even, so it's just 11. I think to residents, 11 o'clock on a Sunday will feel quite late, for the main concourses to be open.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's objected to that though. But that particular bit, have they, Richard?
There's no specific reference to that.
Yeah.
No. There's been a general, generally about noise and disturbance, but nothing specifically about Sunday evenings.
Yeah, I mean, like, sport obviously is a 24/7 business now, so like I don't think they particularly look at Sundays any differently from other days of the week. But yeah, that's kind of the rationale behind it. We don't know what the kickoff times will be going forward.
I mean, would you likely host a cup game on a Sunday?
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, exactly. You could, exactly.
Because those are the ones which are likely to have extra time and kind of elongated use.
But there's also lots of other, we obviously we did an international game for women's. We would want to be involved in bids for more tournaments for the local area. Like if there's a future women's sort of Euros or under 21 tournament, you don't know what days those games are going to be on. So.
Yeah, can I just ask, on non-match days, is the stadium going to be open to the general public to come in to have a drink, such as they would in a pub, really?
Mr. Schreier, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, sorry. Did you hear the councillor's question? Is it intended that the concourses be open to the public on a non-match day routinely, so like a pub would be? I don't know if the councillors are aware, but there is actually a pub on site.
Yes,
with a separate licence which allows normal pub opening hours with an internal and an external area. So that is obviously open on a Sunday, and like I say, normal pub hours, say 11 o'clock during the week, and extended on a Friday and Saturday. But have I lost Mr. Schreier?
Oh yeah, I can't see.
I've lost Mr. Schreier. But for what it's worth, as far as I'm aware, that no, at the moment there are no plans to. He's back. Mr. Schreier, can you confirm whether or not there are any plans to utilise the concourse internally and externally, open to the general public for extended hours, like an open air pub or bar?
Well, at this present moment in time, extended hours beyond what sort of time are you talking about?
Well, at the moment, the stadium is permitted to be open to Monday through to Saturday till 11 o'clock at night, and then Sunday till 9. Is it anticipated that the external concourses will be needed to be accessible to the general public for entertainment or drinking purposes during the extended hours that we're requesting?
I think yeah, we they're like Richard mentioned, we need to maximise the revenue from the stadium to be able to fund the whole organisation and the football team. So we're not trying to rule out anything, but there's always been plans, if you can do it in the right way, to make make it a living, breathing 24/7 run type stadium, and if we can, we would want to have, most other venues in the area don't finish at 9 a.m. on a 9 p.m. on a Sunday, so I don't know why we would want any different sort of hours if we wanted to operate on a Sunday. Obviously, the Sunday hours that have been asked for aren't any different to aren't the same as the other weekend hours. So, they're not 1 a.m. or anything.
Right, thank you. And are there any other further questions?
No.
Not for me, thanks.
No.
Okay. Right. Well, if I could ask Mr. Hawkes, who's the licensing officer, if he's got any comments or clarifications.
No, Chair, I don't think I've got anything else to add. I would just remind you that at the start of the applicant's presentation, he mentioned that an additional condition has been offered to do with the doors being closed from the suites. And I believe you do have the wording for that that's been circulated, and that should be with you.
It hasn't been circulated. It was to be proposed. It was effectively offered to. It was disclosed or offered to the objectors by letter on Friday last week.
It's been shared with us.
We've not actually circulated the wording. Obviously, subject to the panel's comments. It should be relatively simple to say that all external doors and windows in respect of the corporate suites and directors' boxes shall be closed and remain closed after 10 p.m. On a non-match day.
Right, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only point I was just going to clarify. My apologies. I thought the wording had already been circulated when we had the correspondence about the representations being withdrawn. So I'm grateful that's been confirmed. Thank you.
Right, thank you. And if I could ask our legal advisor, Mr. Bishop, if he's got any comments or clarifications.
None to add.
Right, okay then. So yeah, if the applicant would like to make a closing statement.
Yes, of course. Right. As stated during our earlier open provisions, we are seeking some minor changes to the licence to homogenise and keep the consistent operation of the internal parts of the premises on the west end, which is accessible in and out through the Copper Mill Lane entrance, which is far away from the residential parts. The operation of these areas will be internal on non-match days, albeit that the doors and windows will be open. But we've agreed with the objectors that we will agree to an additional condition of those doors and windows shutting at 10 p.m. On a non-match day, and we will still seek the full extended hours of operation from a 9 a.m. start in respect of the stadium and the suites and directors' boxes. To the applied for termination hours, including a Sunday, to allow hours of operation which are consistent with the local area. It is not intended at this time that the stadium operate as a destination venue, but there needs to be because of the nature of the stadium, there needs to be relative flexibility with the hours, because temporary event notices, because of the restrictions on capacity for temporary event notices, it is we would put forward that we need the flexibility now, because temporary event notices for the operation of the main stadium wouldn't normally be available because of the size of the venue. Yes, and yeah, that's about it. If we would ask that the application proceed on the terms applied for.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for your presentation, Mr. Hemingway and Mr. Strye. Right. The subcommittee will now retire to a closed session, and I'll invite the legal advisor and the clerk to join us to provide advice. Once I've closed the hearing, our clerk will disconnect you from the meeting room. You will receive a written copy of the decision notice within 5 working days. So I will now therefore close the hearing, and thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.